What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. Man, so for today, we're just going to get right into the action, and I'm going to talk about my experience at AEW Dynamite and Rampage Grand Slam last Wednesday night. So, I'm not really gonna go into like match specifics because like they already happened and you can just look up the results online, or if you DVR'd both shows respectively, you can just watch them. But this is more about the experience that I had at the show last Wednesday night. So this year it was a little bit different. In past years, AEW used to record AEW Dark or Dark Elevation before Grand Slam, and then they would just record AEW Rampage straight after Grand Slam. They it's always been a both shows have always been 2 hours. Well, 2 hours on TV anyway. But when you factor in, the fact that they have to, change mats and then commercial breaks and stuff like that, it becomes like maybe 4 or 5 hours. So if you ever go to AEW Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe Stadium, just keep that in mind. That you're gonna be there for about 4 or 5 hours. So, like I said, this year was a little bit different though. What they did was they they recorded two matches for AEW Rampage at 7:30. So it was a 7:30 start, and then they aired Dynamite live, so it was live on TV, and uh, obviously we saw it in the arena. And then what they did was they recorded the rest of Rampage after Dynamite. So the let me just say before I go into a little bit of what my experience was like. Arthur Ashman, you gotta get your stuff together as far as directing people on directing people on how to get around the stadium and stuff like that, because it's totally confusing. Like, if you've never been to Arthur Ashe Stadium for the U.S. Open, it's essentially a tennis stadium. So it's number one, it's open air. So even though you're inside Arthur Ashe Stadium, you can still feel the air coming from the outside. And luckily, that this particular episode of Rampage and Dynamite takes place at the end of September. So technically, it's still summer. So it's not too terribly cold, but it can get windy in there, and it's crazy. But anyway, no, you guys got to get your stuff together as far as directing people on how to get around the stadium, because like nobody knows like how to get around, and there's really nobody there aside from when you get in there to direct you where to go. Like the people that work at the stadium, like they're only there for like tennis, and they're only there at certain times of the year. Because if there's no tennis going on, there's really no reason for them to be there. But like they need to be better briefed on how to navigate the showgoers on how to get around, because like I said, it is crazy confusing, and Arthur Ashe Stadium is huge. So that, and then that, and what do you call it? And what do you call it? Like going, just piggybacking off of that, like uh, piggybacking off of that, I remember several people like arrived late, because like got into the show late because people they left like whatever, like taxis, or in my case accessorides, left people all the way at the end of all the way on the opposite end of the stadium from where we're supposed to go. So like there was a lot of like moving around, and you have to cross this big boardwalk to get up into the stadium, and you got to go inside the stadium. It's just crazy confusing. But anyway, as for the show itself, it was a little less crowded this year. I believe only in past years, the last 2 years it was sold out, 20,000 people. But the last this year it may be around 9-10,000 people. So significantly less crowded. But don't get me wrong, still crowded, but significantly less crowded. But yeah, as for the show itself, it was a great show. Uh, just the crowd had so much fun, man. Chris Jericho when he came out in the crowd singing Judas, and that never gets old. Whether he's a heel or a baby face, like we still do it. And it was so cool to witness Eddie Kingston become Ring of Honor World Champion. He was already um, New Japan Strong never open weight champion, but for him to win the Ring of Honor World Title in basically Ring of Honor's like second, like one of Ring of Honor's second homes, New York City, man, and him being from Yonkers, man, it had to be a special moment for him. I got a little bit of emotional because I've been following Eddie his whole career, and I've been such a fan of his. He's such an like, people give him flack about his weight and all this stuff, but the guy can go. Such a huge fan of Eddie Kingston and Claudia Castagnoli, but if I was pulling for Eddie on this night, as was the rest of the New York crowd, man. And also, speaking of Chris Jericho, man, a huge shout out to him and Sammy Guevara for recreating the WrestleMania 19 angle where Chris Jericho had a match with Shawn Michaels, and at the end of the match, when Chris Jericho gave Shawn Michaels a hug, but ended up low blowing him and kicking him in the nuts. But this time Chris Jericho was on the receiving end of it. So Chris Jericho played Shawn Michaels in this scenario. But huge shout out to that, and man, that injury to Mox. I heard John Moxley. I heard he suffered a concussion. I hope he's okay. It wasn't suffered on the pile drivers that he took initially. I read that initially that's what we all thought. Like Ray Phoenix had lifted him up for a pile driver, and accidentally dropped him on his head, but that wasn't the case. Apparently, the injury happened when at the beginning of the match when Ray Phoenix dove at John Moxley on the rampway, and John ended up hitting his head. And hey, John Moxley's a tough bastard, man. He went about so that happened initially at the beginning of the match, and he went about 10 more minutes after that, and then the whole power driver spot that I just talked about. That was tough to watch, man. John was down in the ring for quite a while, long after they went to commercial. But thankfully he was able to get up and walk out of the ring under his own power. You never want to see a guy get injured in there, and especially somebody who's been carrying AEW as John Moxley has. So speedy recovery to John Moxley, man. And also another injury that happened. Adam Cole, when he was during the MJF and Samoa Joe World Title match, AEW World Championship match, I should say. it looked like he was supposed to do a spot where he runs down to the ring and just kind of cheers on MJF and everything like that. But in the course of Adam Cole running, man, he just took a nasty spill and like kind of rolled his ankle, and you can definitely see it on TV and live in the audience that he was visibly hurt, but he did what he had to do and helped MJF retain the AEW World Championship. And I believe he. I don't know. They didn't say what the injury was, but I'm pretty sure it's at the very least a twisted ankle. There's no way he walked out of that unscathed. No way at all. But yeah, no. And as for AEW Rampage, man, Tony Khan came out before the second half of the AEW Rampage taping and said that our AEW will be back for the fourth iteration of Grand Slam next year, and he teased that they may do a pay per view in New York City, not specifically at Arthur Ashe, which is what everybody thought, but he was teasing a pay per view in New York City or in the New York City specifically at some point. Because they already did a pay per view in the tri-state area. Full Gear was in New Jersey last year, so hopefully New York gets an AEW pay per view, and that'd be cool because I've never been to an AEW pay per view. I've been to uh, all three Grand Slams and the Dynamite on Long Island, but I've never been to a pay per view, so that'll be cool for AEW to do that if they choose to do that. Also, during Rampage, when the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page won the Ring of Honor World Six Man Tag Team Championships. Uh, huge pop for the Bucks and Hangman, and Don Callis when he came out for his segment on AEW Rampage with where he explains how he got Sammy Guevara recruited into his new family that he's forming with Konosuke Takeshita. He just got nuclear heat, man. Like I'm sure it was loud on TV, but it was even louder in person, man. It just anytime that Don Callis tried to speak, he was just like booed out of the building, man. And that's crazy. And hey, and no matter what anybody tells you, if you're getting booed like that, you're doing something right. It's getting booed or getting booed loudly or getting cheered loudly is better than no reaction at all. Um, so yeah. As for it was always cool to see Santana and Hook and the Hardys wrestle, and I got to see Sting wrestle live again, man. That's always cool. At Grand Slam, they always somehow get him to wrestle at Grand Slam, so that's pretty cool. That was my like fourth time seeing Sting live. I've seen him live on a Raw in Brooklyn when he was in WWE, but he didn't wrestle that night. But getting to see him wrestle alongside Darby Allin is really really cool. But despite it being tough to navigate Arthur Ashe Stadium and everything like that, the show experience is always great. So as long as AEW keeps running at Arthur Ashe, I'll be there. Just gotta figure out new ways to navigate. But yeah, I'll be there, and it was really fun this year as has been in previous years. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be there next year. But anyway, that is gonna do it for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.